I think I might actually have to upgrade that one. I went on to my backup, which is one that I very rarely stream on, the one I actually have for phone. So I do apologize for that interruption, but as I was saying, this one is closer to a Butterfinger, but the filling is not quite as dense or as hard, and it's a little lighter in color, but it almost has that butterscotch flavor. So these are both made by Cadbury. See the Cadbury logo. So Cadbury does a bunch of candies that are available there instead of here. But anyway, I wanted to, there's Angry Blacksmith in this. Thanks for dropping in. This has been 2015 US MRE Menu 2, packed by Merqual, with a couple of unusual items. And there's an item missing. Accessory packet C had Splenda. There we go. I almost froze for a second. Had Splenda instead of sugar. And the coffee is in a white packet. Like what would have been in, oops, upside down. It would have been in the early MCWs, Meal Cold Weather, where everything had to be white. With the exception of the spoon. I got the brown spoon, but now MCWs have everything in this color unless you get a hot sauce. There are a couple of different hot sauces that are in the white packet, but everything in this one was perfectly fine. I got a different coffee. I have a Minotaur Trading Company French Vanilla Cappuccino. The cheese spread with jalapenos is still perfectly fine. The jalapenos are more potent. But I decided to grab a couple more of the bars that CT sent me. Just for my Canadian viewers and subs, since Friday was Canada Day. So this long one is a Mr. Big. It's got a cookie filling, kind of like a Twix, but surrounded by chopped peanuts and covered in chocolate. The chocolate melts very easily because it is warm in here. There is Tim Cook in the house. Yeah, you can always catch it on the replay. My stream got broken because the first phone that I started on, it was fully charged when I started. I plugged it into a fully charged power bank, but the battery died. I'm guessing is it got too hot. So that can be a problem sometimes. I've had that issues in the past when I would actually be outside in hot weather and I would be shooting video or streaming and it would just die because it was just too hot. And I keep it in a hard case to protect it. I still have it plugged into a power bank. It's only at 9%, so well, that one is done for the night, basically. But anyway, going back to these Canadian bars, this is the crunchy. What I should do is save the other half of this crunchy and then get a Butterfinger. And then do a direct comparison between the crunchy and the Butterfinger. This is what the crunchy looks like on the inside. Almost looks like a pumpkin, like a pumpkin spice or something like that. Well, look who it is. Canadian awesomeness who sent me this. There is Gil in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is 2015, packed by Merqual. And it had this stuff, which I avoid because it messes with me. But the coffee came like this. Usually, it is in something like this. This is a non-dairy creamer, whereas nowadays a creamer comes in something like this. That's this type of packaging that protects it more. But the white packets used to be in the older meal cold weather. Everything had to be white. Of course, now everything is tan, like this, except for Bill's Brew Coffee, or you get a hot sauce that's in a white packet. You get some of the white packet hot sauces in MREs like this, or in First Strike rations, or maybe other rations. So I'm holding on to this white coffee packet because I'm pretty sure it's unusual to have something like this in an MRE, where it would have been found in an MCW. These are the corn nuggets that are not corn nuts. These held up pretty well. This is a tropical punch. The funky red, although this is nowhere near as funky as the regular fruit punch. Now that stuff is messed up. But anyway, as I said earlier, I wanted to bring out 2 more Canadian bars since Canada Day was Friday. I figured, why not? That way any Canadian viewers out there would see this, and I'm kind of doing a little something for them since their holiday is close to ours. and I just heard a big firecracker pop off. My slider is closed, my air conditioner is running, so that somewhat covers the noise, but I can still hear it. So someone is popping those off, most likely from the park that's across the street from my building. But the shredded beef and barbecue sauce, it had a very strong tang to it, even though it was sweet. The black beans, in seasoned black beans, it was in a chili sauce, but extremely salty. At least to me it was. There's absolutely no need for this. This, if I were to use a flameless ration heater, this would have gone in it to help kickstart it. Yeah, I don't use this stuff. Oops, that was it. I don't use this Splenda. I had this Walmart Splenda knockoff just laying around. But I don't use this stuff for obvious reasons. It messes with me. And then the tortillas were hard to deal with, but they're fine. The cheese sauce, or the cheese spread, was jalapeno. Yeah, what I did was I put some of these corn nuggets, I mixed the beef and the beans. I added some of the corn nuggets, and I put a bunch of the cheese spread in there and then mixed that up. And then I would put a spoonful on a piece of the tortilla and ate it that way. Dub C would have enjoyed seeing that. Maybe he'll see this video and he'll think, megabyte. But I figured it would be kind of fun to do it that way, mix it up. But there was no real dessert in this one. Usually you get some kind of a dessert type thing or even a candy. So since I wanted a dessert, I decided to go to my fridge and get these two Canadian bars out. Nope, I haven't had a 2021 version. But I bet they probably put that in there. But I bet you wouldn't get a white pack of coffee. I thought that was so unusual that I decided I'm not going to drink that coffee. I'm going to hold on to it. And this video will be proof that a white pack of coffee came out of an MRE instead of an MCW. I mean, to me, that just seems strange. Just like that white packet freeze-dried fruit came out of a brown bag MRE, and I thought that one was strange, so I hold on to that one. Shoe sucking Doxy Mom, thanks for dropping in. Sorry, I was crunching corn nuggets. 2015 AmeriQual pack. I'm holding on to this coffee because it's in a white packet, not a tan. It should have been in a packet like this one. And they had the audacity to send Splenda instead of real sugar to go with it. No matches in the accessory pack. It was accessory packet C. But everything is perfectly edible. The jalapeno flavor in the cheese spread was very potent, but that's okay. I think the main and the beans kind of needed that little bit of a kick. You know, the beans are extremely salty. So that's the one thing I did not like about it. I don't like having something so salty that you really don't taste the flavor of the beans or whatever it is. The regular cheese spread, to me, that's extremely salty. The jalapeno in the cheese spread, that cuts that saltiness down to a level that I don't mind. But as I said earlier, what I did was I mixed some of the cheese spread and some of these corn nuggets in with the beans and the beef that I mixed together. I did eat the tortillas. They're very prone to ripping. So I could not do what I really wanted to do. I tried it, but the tortilla was just that fragile from being that old. And I warmed it, so I thought that would help, but I guess it didn't help enough. But for CT and any other Canadians who have viewed this video earlier, I brought out 2 Canadian bars in honor of Canada Day, which was Friday. I got the Mr. Big, which is kind of like a Twix on steroids covered with chopped peanuts and chocolate. And the Crunchy, which is kind of like a Butterfinger, but with a lighter tasting filling. It's crunchy, but it's not hard like the filling of a Butterfinger. There is Easy Money in the house. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hope you're doing okay. But now that I've had this 2015 shredded beef and barbecue sauce, it would be interesting to see how it compares to the newest version. So it's still in the lineup. I don't know if it's still menu 2 or if it's changed order in the MRE lineup. But I doubt that the 2021 version will have a white pack of coffee unless it's a Bill's Brew. And it better not have this stuff. I have issues with things like this. So I don't throw them away because I'm not like that. I save it for people who actually need it. Or if I need to sweeten something up and I am out of my stored sugar, then I would go to something like this, or the pink packet, or the blue packet, or the stevia. If I were in the military and I were having to eat these MREs, I would definitely be packing sugar packets in my pocket. That way, if I get a Splenda, I can swap it out. Or maybe trade with someone who wants the Splenda, but doesn't with the sugar. Yeah, Bill's Brew is an okay coffee, but I would rather have a good old Type 2 or even a Type 1. Of course, you don't get Type 1 coffees anymore. You only get those in the older rations. They should bring the Type 1 coffee back. I just went for some more of these corn nuggets. And these held up pretty darn good for having been around since 2015. My coffee is Minotaur Trading Company French Vanilla Cappuccino. Thanks for dropping in, CT. Glad you got to see a couple of your bars thrown in. And hope you had a good Canada Day. There you go. I'm glad CT was able to drop in and see a couple more of these bars open up that he sent. So I will enjoy finishing these off. There's another half of this crunchy, but I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to get me a Butterfinger, and then I'm going to do a direct comparison between the crunchy and the Butterfinger, because there are some similarities but some differences. And I haven't really been doing much. I did a little shopping yesterday, picking up some first aid items using my health insurance quarterly benefit that I can now use in a store instead of having to order online through Walmart and have my packages messed up by FedEx because they don't like my apartment complex. Yep, I hear the occasional firecracker being popped off, but tonight there will be fireworks after dark because there is a concert tonight on the steps of the Capitol, which is not too far from my building. I will not hear the music unless I go outside and walk towards the Capitol, but I will hear the fireworks. It'll be a bit muffled, but I will hear them. There was another concert last night down there. So there are fireworks after that. And then there will be another event elsewhere tomorrow in the city. So there'll be fireworks. And we have a minor league baseball team here called the Iowa Cubs. They're like a farm team of the Chicago Cubs. So after the night games, they shoot off fireworks from behind the stadium or along the river. Yeah, Angry Blacksmith, I bet you are not all that far from a fireworks show being done. So that's probably what you're hearing. You know, I will be hearing that later, but the sound will just be muffled because of distance and the fact that I got my slider closed, my air conditioner's running. I will only hear the big ones or the ones that whistle. Or if a huge number of small ones are being popped off at the same time, I might hear those if they're close enough, otherwise I won't. Fireworks never really bothered me that much. Pumpkin, she perks up if she's not asleep when they're being popped off. She'll kind of look. She might go towards the slider to look out, or she might not. There is Garden State Gardener in the house. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not in too much pain. Wow. I was watching another YouTube channel, or no, I saw it on a Facebook post, and there was a video attached to it where someone was describing an errant firework that went in the wrong direction, and it literally smacked someone in the chest. As it exploded, and yeah, it messed her up. Well, that's good that you're able to relax, and I really hope that surgery solves your problem and you can heal up pretty fast. Although an injury like that will take time to heal, but I hope you do have a full recovery. And as I said earlier in comments, if I was closer, I would help you out with your garden, but I'm just too crapping far away. Oh, that's good for you. I would love to live out in the country, but because I don't drive, I have to be in a city. Otherwise, I would literally have to live with someone who would be willing to drive me everywhere. There is my Iowa brother, Steve Brahms. Also, in a growing kind of situation, got stuff going on in the Brahms garden or greenhouses or orchard. Thanks for dropping in. This is from 2015, menu 2. Not too bad of an MRE, but the black beans were extremely salty. The barbecue sauce had a very pronounced tang to it, but not too bad. But the seasoning for the black beans, they should have gone with more of your traditional baked bean flavor and not a chili bean. It was so salty that I almost couldn't taste the flavor of the beans. or the chili seasoning in the sauce. But other than that, the tortillas are a bit worse for wear. Still perfectly edible. These corn nuggets are perfectly fine. No matches in the accessory pack. But I got this. Well, there is Foreign MRE dropping that super chat, greeting everyone. Thanks so much for that super chat. That's much appreciated. By the way, there is a new video on the Foreign MRE channel, so go check that one out. Nina opens up a French RCIR 24-hour ration. But I'm holding on to this coffee because it's in a white packet, one that would have been found in a meal cold weather that comes in a white bag with a freeze-dried entree instead of one in a retort pouch. And they put this crap in. But as I said earlier, I saved these for people who have to have this. The coffee should have been in something like this creamer packet instead of the white one. And no matches, but that's okay. I got a good supply of matches, but I will save all these. I'm definitely holding on to this coffee. And this video will be proof that a white pack of coffee that's not Bill's Brew came out of an MRE instead of an MCW. I have never seen this in a YouTube video before, so I don't know how rare it is. I'm guessing it's pretty rare for that to happen. And CT was in here earlier, so he got to see me open up a couple more of the bars that he sent. This one right here, that looks like a Twix. Oops, wrong end. Looks like a Twix on steroids, surrounded by chopped peanuts covered in chocolate. And it's called a Mr. Big. And it was big. So I've eaten half of it already. It's made by Cadbury, and this is found in Canada. And then the other one is a 2-bar pack, also from Cadbury. And it's called a Crunchy. I will save the other half for when I get a Butterfinger, because the inside looks like a Butterfinger, but thicker, lighter in texture, lighter in color, maybe lighter in flavor, but it kind of has that Butterfinger taste in the middle, but not as strong. So I went to get a Butterfinger and do a comparison between this and Crunchy. Oh, these two are very good. I wish I could get these down here. I have 2 more bars that CT sent me, so I will open those 2 up in a later stream. What I've been doing with these is 2 that either are similar to each other or different flavors of the same bar. For instance, a coffee crisp. I had the double coffee crisp and the original flavor coffee crisp. So I opened those 2 up when I did the second IMP, the shepherd's pie, and then he sent other bars that I opened up instead of the Snickers that was in the IMP that was the poutine. So the IMP that had the shepherd's pie had a Kit Kat in it. And because we all know about Kit Kats, I decided to save that, and I just ended up eating that one later. But he sent me 8 of these bars, so I have 2 more. They would not be a direct comparison to each other because I think they're way too different from each other. But I decided to go for these two tonight. The Mr. Big and the Crunchy. But Friday was Canada Day, and that's the reason why I wanted to do that. And since this MRE menu did not have any kind of a dessert, I figured I would go with a couple of CT's bars anyway. So that's what I did. A good I would never refuse, or a, oh yeah, I said a food. Okay, yeah, typo. A food that I would absolutely never refuse would be a homemade pierogi and some beef kielbasa. Or beef bacon. Yeah, if those oatmeal cookie bars were stored well and they hold up well, I'm sure they would be pretty darn good. Yeah, beef bacon. I have shown it in some of my grocery hauls. So if you look at my grocery shopping haul videos, in some of them you'll see beef bacon. It's called breakfast beef, but I call it beef bacon because when you look at a package of it, and then you imagine a pack of regular pork bacon, they look very similar, except the meat in the beef bacon is darker. But the one I usually get is made by the Minimar company, which is based in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I have had Hormel beef bacon before. I bought it at a Hy-Vee that is near me, but they have a very hard time getting it. And if they do try to find a source, they have to order a minimum number before they would order it when a customer requests something. And then there's another company called Godshall's. I have had that beef bacon. I have had another one by a company called Dean Halal, which is a certified halal beef bacon. The Godshall's and the Hormel beef bacon are not certified halal, but I would eat them anyway. But Minimar is the company that I prefer to get my halal meat from because I want to support an Iowa business. Well, you know what, Elsie? I am actually trying to go grow spinach and Brussels sprouts, but my spinach is coming up. It's not looking like much. And I have one tiny little leaf poking up out of the soil in my Brussels sprout container. So they are taking very long time. And I have had some seeds that just absolutely didn't do squat. I replanted a few. And I'm actually getting something from a couple of them. Well, thanks for dropping in, Garden State Gardener. I hope you have a pain-free holiday, or at least somewhat pain-free. And don't get yourself in any more trouble, because I can't come over there to get you out of trouble. But Garden State Gardener is up in New Jersey, and he has a huge garden. But because of his injury, he cannot personally do anything. in it right now, so he has to have help from others. Yeah. Yeah, heat is going to be a big thing because it has been predicted for Iowa for later this month. In fact, tomorrow and Tuesday, it's supposed to be in upper 90s. We could even crack 100. There's already a heat warning out for Iowa. So, and we're supposed to get less rain than what we would normally get for the rest of the summer. Just finish off the corn nuggets. This is a tropical punch drink. The red is not as funky as in the regular fruit punch. That stuff needs to go like yesterday. So my stream is a bit haphazard. You know, I'm on a different device, and I think the internet around here is kind of it's probably being heavily taxed. A lot of people are probably on it, or there's just stuff messing with signals. I don't know. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, that would be another problem, LC. And in August, I will be gone for our annual family trip to Lake Icaria. So we leave Friday the 31st. And we come back, we leave Sunday the 31st of July. Now we come back. I'm going to assume Friday, following Friday. But I will pack as if we stay an extra day because I want to be prepared. Or, you know, if for some reason I just get absolutely soaked and I want some dry clothes, I have an extra set of clothes to change into, so I have enough for the rest of the trip. Oh, wow, that can be a problem. I know yesterday or last night in the Smokies chat, I had comments get blocked that were perfectly fine. You know, no suspect keywords, no offensive words, no attempt at posting links because I'm not a mod on his channel. But I had 3 comments blocked, so I had to retype them in another way so that hopefully they wouldn't get blocked. And some others were having that same issue in his chat last night. And none of the mods are doing it, so it was a system bot most likely. Yeah, it definitely has issues. I mean, you know there's something wrong when, say, you put up a video of your pet doing something goofy and it gets flagged and not allowed to be monetized, and then you have to appeal it. Because I had to do that to a video of Mila when she got a gift from a subscriber who sent a treat and a toy. And I shot a video of her eating the treat and then playing with the toy, and then that got flagged. So it was not allowed to be monetized, so I appealed it. And I got it monetized. It was a YouTube algorithm, most likely. And then I had a weather video, the same thing. I had to appeal it, and then it got remonetized. And sometimes my streams will get the yellow crossed out $sign, so I appeal that, and I end up getting those monetized. So I went through all of my videos looking for those that were not monetized, and then if I could appeal that, request a review, a human review, that's what I do, and that's what I've done. Actually, if I had a Twix, I should have thought about this sooner. I could have saved the rest of this Mr. Big and then get a Twix and then compare the Mr. Big to a Twix, but oh well. Too late now. I'm going to finish this one off. And for those that come in invariably, I brought 2 bars out that CT sent me, kind of in honor of Canada Day, which is Friday. Yeah. There are times when an older kid would need a stroller, especially if the kid tires very easily because of a medical condition or disability. People have to think about those things. I have seen some older kids in strollers. I ran into one who's in a stroller because they're not able to get a wheelchair for the kid. So they use a stroller. And that solves their problem. So people have to be more respectful of that. They need to think about, what is this person really having to deal with? Yeah, and I have seen that too. I had a client who had a double-decker cat stroller for her cats. She uses a wheelchair to get around. And so when she wanted to take her cats out, when she went to go just kind of roam around, she would put one cat in one level of the stroller, and it's a specifically designed pet stroller. Then the other cat will go in the top one. That way they could go outside and still be safe. The cats are perfectly happy doing that. She She got them into it when they were kittens so that they would be used to it. But I have seen other people with small pets in a stroller. You know, if it solves their problem, if the dog or cat is just too tired to keep going, then why not? I knew a woman who used to use a bike child carrier. She would hook that up to the back end of her bike. She puts her 2 dogs and cat in there and just go off pedaling and give them a ride. And that's how she would transport them around. Now the fireworks show after the concert, I think, is starting to kick off because I'm hearing a whole lot of fireworks. Some of the louder ones that are part of that particular show, so I'm hearing that. Yeah, you can look them up. Yep. Yep, that's another way you can deal with a kid who is potentially a runner. I still see the occasional child leash. I don't see them as much as I used to, but I still see them once in a while. That could be another way of preventing a kid from taking off and getting lost or getting nabbed by some nuthead who doesn't have a life. And of course, when you go to certain places like amusement parks, and I know one zoo that has them, there are adult strollers. Years ago, when my maternal grandmother was living with my parents before my dad died, we went to visit some cousins in Nebraska, and we went to the Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha, and they have adult strollers. So Grandma rode in the stroller, and we all took turns pushing that. That way she could still enjoy being at the zoo. You mean being at the back? You said at the bike. I think your autocorrect is acting up on you, LC. There might have to be a different kind of a fastening system to go on that thing. Someone would have to mod it seriously to solve that problem. Yeah. I mean, my autocorrect will flag my own name. And I go to type Des Moines. If I don't have the autocorrect turned off, it will flag that. And when I'm typing stuff, when I'm on my tablet, my Kindle, which is what I usually use to watch YouTube on, and I use my my Bluetooth Anchor keyboard. If I make a possessive in a comment, For instance, I'm referring to, say, I'm talking about my electric company and I'm talking about the bill. See, I say like Mid-American's bill or rates, it will flag that as incorrect because it doesn't recognize, I guess, that kind of grammatical structure. So I just ignore it. It thinks it's a spelling error or something like that, which is stupid, but I can't turn that feature off. I can turn the autocorrect off, but I can't turn that part of the spell checker thing off. I wish I could, but anyway, I just go on. Well, tomorrow, Ration Museum stream will be going on. Sean moved his stream from Sundays to Mondays for the time being. Same time slot. So he will go on tomorrow. So I guess he doesn't do his celebrating till night, if he chooses to do it at all. But he will go live at, I don't know if it'll be at 3 Central, have to look. He's already got that scheduled. So that will be one thing you can do to pass the time if you want to stay inside, not go outside in the heat. Because at least around here, it's going to be a heater tomorrow. But Gil, Camp Pet and Family Compound, he will not go live. Maybe someone else will. Did I know T? You have to explain that one, because I don't know who or what you're referring to when you ask, did I know T? I never really got into Pokemon. My niece and nephews did when they were a kid. And then my great niece got into it until she got into Shopkins. So I never really followed Pokemon. Well, if it is an actual object, then I suppose that could be something to look for. Well, Elsie, that's why I turned the autocorrect off. Because of that stupid crap that it does. Heck, on my Kindle, unless I say add to dictionary, it flags the word crap as a spelling error. So if you want to have a word not get flagged, you have to literally add it to your device's dictionary. But I just can't be bothered with adding every single incorrectly flagged word to the dictionary. I just don't want to bother with that. I just want to get my comment in, and be done with it. I would have to say a yes on that. Coffee or tea, yes. I enjoy both. I drink a lot of tea, and I love my coffee. I like some teas that might be considered unusual. I love chai. You can get chai tea bags in grocery stores. You can also get a chai powder. That would be more of an instant drink as opposed to the tea bag. And of course, you make your own chai by adding the individual whole spices and then brewing that with the tea. Yeah, I like a few different kinds of teas. I like the flavor teas. I like some of the herbal teas, any of the mint teas, the green teas. I like that. I like hibiscus tea. I had a hibiscus tea instead of a coffee, or it was a ration that did not have a hot drink, so I got a hibiscus tea bag. And that produced a very, very deep red, almost a beet color in the cup. And you can grow hibiscus in the U.S. In fact, there are some YouTubers who have hibiscus in their gardens. In fact, one of my sisters has a hibiscus. But I don't think she knows that you can take the flowers and make a tea out of it. I think she just got it for the appearance of the flowers and the scent, because it is a wonderful scent. But I like teas that have cardamom and ginger. I get some of these teas at Hillel Groceries. That's where some of my favorite teas come from. But I also like Earl Grey. You know, when I drink hot tea, I usually sweeten it. In my younger days, I used to put creamer in it, like you would see in British videos. Some of the British YouTubers, when they're doing a tea, they will put a creamer in it or milk to whiten it. And you can get 3-in-1 teas in some British rations that are already done like that, all mixed up just like a 3-in-1 coffee. So all you have to do is add the water. But later on, I stopped doing that. Occasionally I'll do it, but usually it's black but sweetened. But in the summer when I drink cold tea, straight up, just a tea, no sugar. I might throw some lemon or lime in it once in a while, but usually it's just a straight up cold tea, and that's it. Yeah, there's milk tea is very popular with some of the African members of my mosque. When we have a dinner, sometimes someone will do a milk tea and bring it, or do it right there. And then for one meal, I made tea, and I did a spice tea. And then another time I actually did the milk tea, because there's a little bit of milk left in a jug and it needed to be used up, and it wasn't going to be used for anything else, so I did the milk tea. And that is usually very sweet as well. And sometimes that can be spiced, say with cardamom. So that can be pretty good too. If you go to a Middle Eastern store, you can find the cardamom teas, or some of the teas that originate from Arab countries or India, or say Pakistan, or even Turkey. You can find different teas there that might be interesting to sample. And of course, you can get different coffees too. In fact, I found a bag of coffee in Hillel that is actually named Mila. Yeah, it has my late cat's name on it. Okay, you go ahead, do what you got to do. Now that my drink is gone, I just finished it off. You can see that red. There's a lot of that red left behind all over the inside of my drinking jar. It washes out. It's not permanently stained. It's just red is the only color that really does it like that. Not bad. And the regular fruit punch, it's even worse. It's almost a film that's in that one. Why? I don't know, but that stuff is just, it's so wrong. But that is about gonna do it for me for this one. Yeah, I ran it extra long because I've been over an hour on this one, and I was over an hour on the other phone. But I get too busy yapping and munching on my chocolate bars. But I don't care, you know. Heck, Smokey was going till after midnight. He didn't end it till a little after midnight Central last night. But, you know, had a good time talking about stuff, showing stuff. Let's see, next week, what am I going to do? What am I going to chow down on? Let's see, I have a French ration, the single meal exercise ration, which I suspect would be the equivalent of a U.S. totem or tailored operational training meal, which is a clear bag ration that has a lower calorie count than a standard MRE like this. And those are for training sessions where you're not doing as much physical activity, or you're just like a short thing, but you have a meal break, but there's no kitchen handy, so they issue those totems, and the writing on those is blue. But the French RIER is a single meal ration, and it does not have a drink with it. It does not have the stove kit like the RCIR, the 24-hour ration, does. So when I open that one, I am going to pull out one of my French hot drinks to have with that. I have some French teas, I have some French coffees and some French cocoa, so I may do one of those. I don't think I have any French cold drinks. I think I've made all of those and drank those. So I'll come up with something else for a cold drink. So that one is a lasagna. That is the one that I was supposed to do a collab with Aletha on that one because she had the same one. But life got in the way. So she couldn't do it. So I will just do that one on my own. I may do that one next week. Or I may do the Minotaur ration, the one Minotaur ration that I have left. The cashew chicken. I'm really looking forward to digging into that one. And then I have another Norwegian Arctic field ration, which is a vegetarian one, but since I did one of those last week, I want to hold off on that one. Yeah, cashew chicken. So I am not sure, because I obviously haven't opened that one up, if the cashews will be mixed in the pouch with the rest of the ingredients for that one, or if they are in a separate packet that I would add later. I don't know. Oh, wow, Elsie, that has got to be hard for you to deal with. For a kid whose mind is just not normal for someone his age. Yeah, I've worked with autistic clients that were more high functioning. And of course, I have Facebook friends. Plus, I know locals here who have autistic kids that are much lower functioning. And they cannot be left alone for even a second. Someone has to be there all the time to supervise them. Yeah, it's for a lot of them, at least from what I understand and have experienced, they just don't have the ability to have more complex thoughts or reasoning, or things become so disjointed. Like one of my clients, I would help the client bathe, and then the person would say, since I washed this leg, can I wait till next time to wash the other leg? And I said, no, when you take a bath, you have to wash your entire body. And I'm here to help you wash what you cannot reach. So I had a client who had to be constantly reminded of things like that. And I had another autistic client who was more high functioning, but just had some memory issues. or would just get things out of order. But it can be different with different people because, that's how autism is. No two autistic people are alike. Just like no two people with mental illness are alike. No two people with cerebral palsy or any other disease like that are alike. Each one manifests it differently. I would guess, it would probably have to take a lot of repetition. My one client, I had to repeat things, you have to do it this way. Otherwise, if you do it another way, it won't work. For instance, this one client was diabetic. I had to constantly remind the person that you have to clean your finger before you prick. Otherwise, you're going to get a blood sugar level that is not correct, because it will detect whatever substance is on your finger is going to mess up the reading and will taint the blood. And the sensor in the meter will not process it correctly. It will get a bad result that could hide something that could really be wrong. A false high or a false low. So you have to constantly remind that person why certain things have to be done a certain way, or something will be bad. That would be my suggestion. Maybe you have to think of the red light or a stop sign as a closed door. Have to maybe try getting him to think that when there's a red light, a door is closed and you have to wait for the green light to open. I wonder if that would help. I don't know if an association like that would work. Or, or maybe think of like an elevator. When an elevator is moving, the door is closed and you can't go out until it opens. Yeah. But, I don't know if, say, like an invisible closed door or a gate, I don't know if that would help. Yeah, I really hope you can get that done, because this kid does need some professional assistance. It sounds like it. Someone who has the experience, who knows how to communicate on the level that that kid can understand. Oh, wow. Well, early happy birthday. Yeah, I really hope you can get a testing session scheduled, and you can get a definitive answer and get the help that you all need, because if you can get someone else in there to help the kid, then that will help the rest of you out as well, because it'll take some stress off you all. I know that's what I did when I went into homes of autistic people, and my purpose was not just to provide the direct care, but to take stress off the caregiver. I was a home health aide. And so I traveled the city by bus to different clients. I only had a few who were autistic. I had some with dementia. And I had some with mental health issues. But most of my clients were elderly or disabled, diabetic. Some needed oxygen. Some used BiPAPs or CPAPs. Some had degenerative diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, or they had some kind of a permanent injury that would cause them to be paralyzed. I had one client who had a stroke and only had use of one arm. And I was there by myself, so I had to transfer this person who was a lot taller. I was basically moving dead weight, and because I'm short, it was a little more difficult, but I got it done. Actually, Elsie, there is something that my great niece has that she has a bit of an anxiety issue. Not to the point of real mental illness, but there are these popper things that look like silicone versions of bubble wrap, but you just pop the flexible part back and forth. So it's like permanent, reusable bubble wrap, but they come in bright colors and different shapes. I don't know if something like that would sort of allow them to focus on that instead of trying to oh well, there goes that idea down the crapper. Yeah, that would be a bit of a problem. Years ago, I heard about people putting up these sensory rooms in their homes or in a school where a lot of autistic kids go. And there are different surfaces all over the walls. There can be different colored lights that you could program. maybe certain sounds that can be played that the parent or a teacher would control, to try to get the kid to either calm down or just focus on something, or maybe allow them to relieve stress or anxiety. I don't know, something like that would help, where you wouldn't have anything loose in there, but something that's completely attached to the wall, like embedded into the wall or the floor. But maybe have a parent control the lights or the sounds in there. I don't know if that would work. That would be expensive to do. You would have to dedicate a room to do that. Well, that's one way to do it, because focus on the fish and the sound of the music or the bubbling of the fish tank. Maybe if the light is not so bright, that probably helps too. No, that might be of an issue. A 75-gallon tank wouldn't be big enough for anyone bigger than a toddler. Or maybe a 5-year-old. Yeah, I wish I had more suggestions, but I'm just not all that well versed in it. I don't have years and years of constant experience with autism, especially younger children, because the clients I had one was a teen and one was an adult who did live alone, but he actually had cats that were classified as therapy animals. So the cats were actually recommended by a doctor to just give them something to focus on. Yeah, I can already imagine that, because the two people that I know here, they're actually YouTubers. They haven't been shooting much video lately, but from talking to them, one has had to bail twice in camping trips because of an autistic child just going absolutely berserk. And it takes both parents to get the kid to settle down. and stop destroying stuff. And sometimes these kids just don't know their own strength. Yeah, that is triple hard on you because you do not have the help that you need. And I really hope you can get someone in there to help you out. Well, that's not good because that is actually a crime. If you do not pay child support and you do not have a good excuse for not paying it, you can be convicted of I think it's a felony. I could be wrong, but I think it's a felony if you don't pay child support without a good reason not to. Yeah, we have a very serious problem here in Iowa with deadbeat parents who do not pay the child support. Well, that's good. My oldest sister has actually done some of that at her school. Because she worked in special ed her entire career, it was just natural for her to do that behavioral interventionist. Well, she called it a crisis interventionist because there are a lot of kids in her school that have some kind of a mental health issue, emotional issues, as well as physiological cognitive delays, or like autism, or something like that. Yeah, she has a lot of experience with that. Well, that's good that you get that because you need that extra help to take care of the kids' needs, which would be more than what you would have to do for most kids. I was just listening for the fireworks are kind of slowing down here from that fireworks show that took place after a concert that was at the Capitol. Yeah, I'm past one side of the Capitol, and then the concert took place on the opposite side. Ah. See, that's what these deadbeats do. The authorities find out where someone is working or getting a source of money. Then when the deadbeat gets wind of it, they just haul tail. So there should be a warrant out for that idiot's arrest. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, that is intentional, avoiding child support when you're perfectly capable of working. Oh, yeah. Disability or Social Security benefits cannot be docked for a lot of things. But if a person is on such a benefit and they're still a deadbeat, then that benefit should be cut. Yeah, it is. Debt collectors, like for credit card debt, or like if you default on a loan, collection agencies cannot go after government benefits. But if you're a deadbeat, I think such, if you have more than enough to meet your basic needs, like pay your bills, buy food, you should be able to pay the child support, even if it's like $20 a month or whatever the minimum amount is. I'm sure there is a minimum somewhere. But yeah, that idiot should have his benefits garnished. They call that garnishment. Not the kind of edible garnish or culinary garnish, but yeah, benefits should be garnished, because if you get unemployment and you owe back taxes or child support or alimony, you can have that money taken. Yeah, that does suck. I have known parents who are divorced, and the non-custodial parent avoids paying child support, and they're constantly on the run trying to avoid being caught. Or they find work, but they get paid under the table so that the income cannot be tracked. Yeah, in some countries, that is actually a sentence that a man would have to go through for sex crimes. That is an actual punishment in some countries. And that should be a permanent reminder of the consequences of what you did. Well, this phone is about to go dead, and it's not plugged into a power bank, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short and plug it in so it can charge. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for watching. I want to again thank Foreign MRE for dropping that super chat. So thanks for hanging out for almost 3 hours, or maybe almost 4. Anyway, thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.